In this class we are going to talk and see about the history topics. Dear cadet, revision is very important for the preparation of annual examination. Soon you are going to have annual examination. So please go through all the chapter, because in social science 11 chapters from history, 8 chapters from geography and 9 chapters from civics is going to be a part of your annual examination. Please go through it and do the revision very seriously. Today is 27th Feb 2021. In this revision series, we are on the chapter number 7, Ashoka the emperor who gave up the war. So on 27th Feb, in the revision part, we are going to see about the 3 points. First, a very big kingdom that is going to be called as an empire, the ruling in that empire, then after that Ashoka, a unique ruler, and lastly we are going to summing up all this point by discussing the question answers of this chapter. So I request you all, please do the revision very seriously. First, a very big kingdom. So a very big kingdom is going to be called as an empire. The land that we see on our notes, currency, right, have a long history. They were carved in stone and placed on the top of the massive stone. The pillar at Sarnath, about which you read in chapter number 6. So already in chapter number 6 you have studied about Sarnath. Ashoka, one of the greatest ruler known to the history, and on his instruction and inscription were inscribed on pillars as well as on rock surface. Before we find out what was written in this inscription, let us see why his kingdom was called as an empire. So our topic of discussion is a very big kingdom. So a very big kingdom is known as an empire. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta was supported by a wise man named Chanakya or Kautilya. Many of the Chanakya's ideas were written down in the book called the Arthashastra. There were several cities in the empire marked with the black dot on the map. You can go through that. This included the capital, that's a Patliputra, Takshila and Ujjain. Next, Takshila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route from the north to South India. Merchant, official and craft person probably lived in this city. So dear cadet, in the tick the correct answer, in the form of true or false, in the form of fill in the blanks, it can be asked. Just here it is mentioned that Takshila was the gateway of the northwest. It can be asked Surat was a gateway of the northwest. So you have to find out true or false, or dash was a gateway to the northwest. Okay, like that. Moving further, in other areas there were villagers. In the villagers they were farmers and herders. In some areas such as the central India, there were forests where some gatherers, forest product and hunter animals for food. So here we are talking about farmers, herders, hunter and gatherers. These were all the peoples living in the kingdom. A huge empire. People in different parts of empire spoke different languages. They probably ate different kinds of food and wore different kinds of clothes as well. So how are empires different from kingdom? So it's clear to each and everyone now. So emperors need more resources than a king, because empires are larger than kingdoms and need to be protected by big army. So also they need a large number of officials who collect taxes. Moving further, ruling the empire. As the empire was so large, different parts were ruled differently. The area around Patliputra was under the direct control of the emperor. This meant that the officials were appointed to collect the taxes from the farmers, herders, craftspersons, and the traders who lived in the villages and the towns in the area. So here you are understanding from where the emperor is having the income by collecting the revenue or the taxes from the people. Officials also punish those who disobey the ruler's orders. Many of these officials were given salaries. Messenger went to and fro and keep a watch on the officials, and of course the emperor supervised them all with the help of the members of the royal families and the senior ministers. So here we are seeing the administration of the empire, how the ruling was going on in an empire. Next, there were other areas or provinces. Each of these was ruled from a province, capital city that was known as Takshila and or Ujjain. Although there was some amount of control from Patliputra, and the royal princes were often sent as governor. Official customs and rulers which are making the different rules were followed by the different people. Besides, there were vast area between the center. Here the Mauryans tried to control roads and river, which were important for transport and to collect the whatever resources were available as tax and tribute. How they were earning their income, how they were collecting the tax and tributes, in this slide we are seeing here. Next, moving further, for example, the Arthashastra tell us the northwest was important for blankets, and the South India it's for the gold and precious stone. So it is possible that these resources were collected as a tribute. There were also the first reason. People living in that area were more or less independent, but may have been expected to provide elephant, timber, honey, wax to the Mauryan official. So from forest area also they used to collect the tax in the form of timber, elephant, honey, wax, like that. Moving further, Ashoka, a unique ruler. The most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka. He was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through inscription. Most of the Ashoka's inscriptions were in Prakrit and were written in the Brahmi script. So here we are knowing about Ashoka used the language Prakrit and the script was Brahmi. Ashoka's war in Kalinga, that was a famous war. Everybody is knowing about that. In our explanatory video already I explained you in detail, but still in this revision part we are quickly taking the gist of this one. After this war he gave up the war. Kalinga is an ancient name of the coastal Orissa. You can see on the page number 68, map 5. Ashoka fought a war to conquer Kalinga. However, he was so horrified when he saw the violence and bloodshed that he decided not to fight any more war. He is the only king in the history of the world who gave up the contest war after winning the war. Next, moving further to see about the Ashoka's Dhamma. So what was Ashoka's Dhamma? Let's check out. Ashoka's Dhamma did not involve worship of a god or performance of a sacrifice. He felt that just a father tried to teach his children, he had a duty to instruct his subjects. He was also inspired by the teaching of Buddha. Next, there were a number of the problems that troubled him. People in the empire followed different religions and sometimes led to conflict. Animals were sacrificed. Slaves and servants were ill-treated. Besides, there were a quarrel in family and amongst the neighborhood. So these were the problems of Ashoka's Dhamma to established. This question I asked in the examination also. Please go through the slide. Next, Ashoka felt it was his duty to solve these problems. So he appointed officials, which were known as Dhamma Mahamata, who went from place to place teaching people about the Dhamma. Besides, Ashoka got his messages inscribed on the rock and pillar, instructing his official to read his message to those who could not read it themselves. So see how the great emperor was doing welfare for the society. Ashoka also sent messengers to spread ideas about Dhamma to other lands such as Syria, Egypt, Greece and Sri Lanka. Try and identify these on the map number 6 and page 76-77. He built the road, dug wells and built rest houses. Besides, he arranged for medical treatment for both human beings and animals. So here aside you can see about the lion capital. This I was talking about. Next, moving further to see more about this chapter. Question answers. Question number 1 is for you. Question number 1 is speaking to you. Make a list of the occupation of the people who lived within the Mauryan Empire. So the question is asking the occupation of the people who were living in the Mauryan Empire. I hope so. After discussing these slides, the answer is ready. Let's check out the answer. Dear cadets, list of the occupation of the people who lived within the Mauryan Empire are following: farming, pastoral farming, food gatherers in the forest, masonry, carpentry, stone cutting, craftsmanship, merchant, official and craft person. You can summarize your answer like that: farmers, herders, hunter, gatherer, right? Craft person, merchant, official. Like that also you can write your answer. How you will write? The list of the occupation of the people lived within the Mauryan Empire are, or who were living in the Mauryan Empire are following: farmer, hunter, gatherer, craft persons, merchant, officials. Like that you can frame the answer. Next, moving further to see the second question. A, B, C and D. Taxes, governors, roads and river and tribute. So this is the answer. Let's check out the question for this. So complete the following sentences. So A, B, C, D is given here. Let's go to first. Its correct answer already I placed down. Just by adding the correct answer, let's read out the sentence. Officials collect taxes from the area under the direct control of the ruler. The answer is clear to you. Next, B. Royal princes often went to the province as governors. Okay. C. The Mauryan ruler tried to control roads and rivers which were important for transport. People in forested region provide the Mauryan official with tribute. The tribute is forested area. It can be honey, wax, timber, elephant or so on. So you should place only one word: tribute. While writing, fill in the blanks in the examination. Don't write the answers like this: taxes, governor, roads, rivers, tribute. You have to write the complete sentence, then do the fill in the blanks. Because the question is complete the following sentence or fill in the blanks. So without blank, how you are filling it? So first write the sentence, then write the answer, then underline it. Then it is going to be called as fill in the blanks or complete the sentence. Next, for true or false, false, false and true. So let's check out the sentences. Question number 3, state whether true or false. Ujjain was the gateway to the northwest, so it's incorrect. That was Takshila. Chandragupta's ideas were written down in Arthashastra, false. It was Kautilya or Chanakya's ideas were written there. Next, Kalinga was the ancient name of Bengal. Again, it's false because the Kalingas was the ancient name of Orissa coast. Next, most Ashokan inscriptions are in Brahmi script. So that is true. Let's move to the next question. What were the problems that Ashoka wanted to solve by introducing Dhamma? So in his society, peoples were doing something. Let's check out. And that was the problem for him to introduce the Dhamma. This is the answer for you. So the problems that Ashoka wanted to solve by introducing Dhamma were the people in the empire followed different religion. So if they were following different religion, how they are going to introduced by Dhamma by Ashoka? And sometimes they lead to conflict because they were following different religion. Animals were sacrificed. Then slaves and servants were ill-treated, and beside this there were a dispute, conflict or quarrels between the family or within the family and amongst the neighbor. So that was the major issue for Ashoka, and he felt that it was his duty to solve these problems. Next, this question can be asked in the examination for 3 marks or otherwise for the 5 marks. If it is going to be asked for 2 marks, then write only 2 points only. Okay? Please don't write a single line for 3 marks. How I am going to place you 3 marks for a single line? So dear cadets, please see the question and its marks, then try to answer the question. What were the means adopted by Ashoka to spread the message of Dhamma? Again, this question is asking to you, whatever the means he adopted to spread the message of Dhamma. So just have a look to the answer. So the means were adopted by Ashoka to spread the message of Dhamma are following. First, he appointed officials which were known as Dhamma Mahamata, who moved from place to place teaching people about Dhamma. Next, Ashoka got his message inscribed on the rock pillars, instructing his official to read his message to those who could not read it by themselves. So here, this question can also be asked for 5 marks or otherwise for the 3 marks. Generally in the question, you will have the 3 marks question only. So for 3 marks, this much answer is sufficient for you, right? It's not going to be asked for 5 marks. Next, lastly, this revision part is over. I request you all to do the revision very seriously and take all the revision notes in a systematic way. You can go ahead like that. First you will study about geography, all the tick the correct answer read one day. After that, next day, all the fill in the blanks of geography read. After next day, go for fill in the blanks for geography. Then the short question answers. Like that, you please summarize your whole syllabus. Lastly, I want to thank to each and everyone for watching this video. Till then, be safe and secure at your home. Jai Hind to one and all.